What's up, Saints and Ain'ts? Welcome back to another episode of Music and Makeup. This is a special segment I like to call Behind the Beat. It's where I sit down with artists who are making serious noise in their lane. Today's guest is known for his clever bars, clean style, and aspirational energy that makes you want to step your game up as soon as you press play. He's been putting on for Harlem in a major way, building with 183rd through Money Inc., which isn't just a label, but a whole lifestyle brand. We're going to get into all that, the music, and what it really means to be fly through sound and style. Welcome to the podcast, Nym Lo.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Happy to have you. So I'm going to jump right into it. I always like to start with the beginning, with my guests. How did you get into music?
Shit. I was young, right? I'm probably like third, fourth grade. I think fourth grade was the turning point. I used to write poetry and I had, I guess, I don't want to say a talent show, but it was some kind of show in the auditorium. You know, it's back in the days when kids went to the auditorium and all that. And I read my poem on stage and, it's just a feeling when you on that stage, everybody looking at you, it's just you and the microphone and whatever it is that you came up with. So, once I got to fifth grade, then that kind of changed into my composition book of raps. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because this was, probably like 96 or something like that. So, this was rap's golden era. You know what I mean? I just moved it over from the poetry to the beats, you know what I'm saying? But I always really was like into words, reading, spelling, all that type of thing. And I always was very descriptive. So that was, that just translates to how my music sounds today. You know what I mean?
So what was the moment you decided this was something that you wanted to do seriously?
I was still young and where I'm from, my block, like 116 Manhattan Ave, 17, 18, 19, like, and that probably, I want to say maybe 8 block radius, Manhattan and Morningside, is full of rappers. You know what I'm saying? So we all grew up together and we all grew up rapping together. You know what I'm saying? So it was like since very young, the dream was, especially back then, it's like, we got to get signed. And that's how battling came along because it's like, we sharpen our pens and, so the dream was always, get on, you know what I'm saying? Get on.
How did people react when you started taking music seriously?
To be honest, battling was kind of first. So that was my introduction to the masses on how nice I was. You know what I'm saying? And that also, I fed off of that love and that I was reciprocated and I just, it boosted my confidence. You know what I'm saying? And we was always in the studio, you know what I'm saying? We was going to the studio and making rhymes and all that. I would say since early on, like not to sound like that, but I pretty much for the most part for a very long time I've been dead nice.
You're from Harlem, of course. Now, how does that influence shape your music?
I mean, shit, that's the nucleus of it all because that's where the style, that's where the demeanor, you know what I'm saying? That's where all that come from. And I pride myself and that really seeping through all my raps. Like when you listen to me, like, oh, that's a Harlem nigga right there. You know what I'm saying? I love that people know that already. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, we come from a place, especially around that time where it was very influential. We was very influential to the culture, you know what I'm saying? And then, outside of that, the black culture was very influential to pop culture. You know what I'm saying? So, I love being from Harlem and I love being able to let that show through my raps and people understand that without me even having to say it. In the history books, we there already.
Yeah, if you think about like the Renaissance and all of that, like the huge part of like Black history and Black culture, so many great like artists and poets and things of that came from that time. I want to jump into your discography for a minute. Your first album, The Big Horse, was released in 2018. And how would you describe your growth between that album and let's say Money Ain't Millionaires Volume 2?
Horses, that's my baby right there. The Big Horse, though, that's probably my favorite album from myself. But the reason why I feel like it got an edge over everything else is because that was everything in my life up until that point. You know what I'm saying? Because there came a period, like, I spoke earlier about my rap dreams earlier as a young kid and all that, but there came a long period where all that was derailed and I wasn't really focusing on rap. So 2018, the big horse is it's an accumulation of songs that I had done probably way back. There's a song on there, I think it's Feds, if I'm not mistaken. It was produced by Don D from out in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And that song was actually 5 years old that I put on that 2018 project. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that was an accumulation of everything I did, went through, seen, thought, felt, and I was able to just put it on that album because at that point I was only recording at my leisure. So it's different from having a schedule like, yo, all right, we got a release date and this, that, da, 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 and you got to take those steps. This is me going to the studio when I feel like I got free time, when I feel like rapping. And that's why I feel like it just has that edge because it captured so much of what I had going on for so long, and I was able to put it all on one project.
That's what's awesome too about music. It can be autobiographical. Like it's a snapshot of like a time and place in your life. Even like as a listener, there's certain songs that come back and they put me into a time and place. And that's good that you were able to create something that's a time capsule of a time in your life and something to go back to.
Between the big horse and a Money Inc. Volume One or From the Horse's Mouth, you can hear a very stark contrast. And that's because that guy that did Big Horse, you probably never gonna hear him again. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A different person. You know what I'm saying? So that's why to me, like that, like you said, it's a time capsule. Like I like to listen to that and just go back to those moments.
What's one song in your catalog that you didn't get its flowers, but it means a lot to you?
The song that I've done that to me means the most was Letter to Delhi. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't a song that required flowers. That was really my heart bleeding on the paper. You know what I'm saying? Like that that probably was like that probably was like the realest song I ever wrote, just because of how introspective it was in a time of my own personal tragedy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The reason why I do love it so much is because it took a lot for me to actually record it and put it out. You know what I'm saying? So it felt groundbreaking and brave for me because, normally I'm a very private person. You know what I'm saying? I like to give the people what I know they like to see. And, everything else I like to reserve for me because, I'm a real person. I live a real life. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not for everybody to see, comment on, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that was one moment where I felt like I'm losing my little man. I just felt like somebody else might need to hear this because they might have went through this and they might be able to identify, type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Which project do you feel like was the biggest turning point for you creatively or professionally?
High Horse 2, produced by 183rd. High
Mhm.
Horse 2. High Horse 2 that was shortly after me and Third had sat down about me taking music seriously, because we did High Horse 1 as well. But High Horse 1, I wasn't as invested because that was literally the beginning. I think that was 2019. So it was 2019 or 2020. But that was me like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do this rap shit for real now. Like I've done it all my life, yeah, but now I'm gonna do it, and I want that to be the only thing that I'm doing. So High Horse One was that. And me and Third came together, and we both put a lot into that album, a whole lot. But when your first couple bricks, everything still ain't solid yet. High Horse 2 was like where I felt like, I found my footing. You know what I'm saying? It was just it was very fun. It was very liberating. You know what I'm saying? Like you doing everything yourself. Quiet as kept. Those was the murmurs and the beginnings. I know we're gonna talk about it later. Those was the beginnings of Money Inc. You know what I'm saying? It was self sufficiency. and really, really trying your hardest to make mark as big as you can.
I'm going to move on to the aesthetic of your music. Your music is what a lot of people call music to get fly to. I know I think of it that way. And fashion, cars, and confidence play a very big part in your imagery. What inspires that side of your creativity?
Real life. That's how I like to live. Like that's me giving you a glimpse into who I am without saying this is who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the things that I like to do, I like to have, the places I like to eat, the things I like to see, the countries I like to visit. When the camera is off, when the beat is off, no studio, this is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I want to be I want to have nice clothes. You know what I'm saying? I want to go nice places with my wife out to eat and take a family on vacation and, visit these different countries and all that and, slap some fly shit on. You know what I'm saying? And I just went to the store, got and put my little man shit, my daughters, all that shit. So, that's really what I like to do. And that's why it comes off so natural.
So when fans listen to you, what do you want them to feel? Motivation, elegance, pride, hustle, all of that.
Listen, you answering your own question.
Your question. Because it is. I'm going to tell you, like, whenever I'm in a mood where I need to like get moving, I need to get things done for the day. I'm like, you got to throw on the Nym Lo. I put it in a category of like the get money, let's get to it type of music.
When people listen to my music, I want them to want more for themselves, no matter what that more is. It could be more hours so you could get overtime. It could be more cars so you could drive, more clothes, more chicks, like more jewelry, more money, more like whatever it is that, really floats your boat. I want you to listen to me and try to get more of that. I feel like inspiration, being able to inspire people, to me is the highest form of flattery. I get young dudes all the time, even sometimes dudes my age, whatever, hit me like, yo, you the reason I got my passport. You know what I'm saying? Or I might just hit me like, yo, I got a BMW because of you, man. I love this shit. Da, 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 da. Or yo, I went and did this because of you. Or I ate here. Or I took my lady out because of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm watching you. Da, 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 da. You got the playbook, whatever. So to me, that's when I know I'm doing my job. I don't got to sell a bunch of records, but if I inspire these young niggas to go do better and go be better, then to me, I won. You know what I'm saying? Because there's too many other niggas that's instructing them or pointing them in a direction that they meet their demise. You know what I'm saying? To be able to do that and convey it while doing something that I love as well.
How do you balance like the aspirational side of your music with staying relatable to people who might still be grinding towards that lifestyle?
One thing I had to learn is everything ain't for everybody. There are people that will hear my music and feel like, man, I don't want to hear that shit. I ain't there yet. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that pointed them in the direction of distastefulness to their palate. You know what I'm saying? But you can't please everybody. But I'm a firm believer in, who's for me is gonna be for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to appeal to everybody. I'm trying to appeal to the like minds. You know what I'm saying? Niggas that want to get it like me, niggas that want to, shit, even if they getting it better than me or more than me or whatever, like just niggas that want more, that want to be better. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing worse for me than somebody that is complacent where they at. You know what I'm saying? My nigga, you always gotta want more, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it makes you feel like wanting more is there's something wrong with you, then they not for you because they just don't want to see you with more. I was a nigga when I didn't have and my niggas got more. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I want to see because it motivates me.
You should always have something you're working on, something you're moving towards, something that, like I said, that makes you get up in the morning because otherwise you're just stagnant.
For me, it's about elevation always, but in all ways. You know what I'm saying? In this area, in this area, in this area, in this area, I gotta elevate because if I'm in the same spot I was last year, then I'm doing my purpose. Feel me?
Absolutely. Money Inc. It's more than just a record label. It's also a lifestyle brand. How did that get started? And what did you all want this to represent beyond the music?
Pretty much what we was talking about, but that self-sufficiency and independence. You know what I'm saying? Because me and Third, we naturally niggas that get fly. We get money, we do our own thing. You know what I'm saying? And we want Money Inc. to represent who we are personally because we want to motivate people to be the same way. This is not about making sons or, little us's. This is about making more bosses so that you understand that we could do it, you could do it because we not special. You know what I'm saying? We have a special skill set. You know what I'm saying? But we come from where everybody else come from. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if we could do that in what we doing, you could do that in what you doing. We're not telling you start a record label or make clothes and no shit. It's like nigga, whatever you doing, whoever you doing there under, you don't have to be under them to still do it. What you want to do, you could go out and do it on your own. And it's tough. It gets very tough. You know what I'm saying? Because being self-sufficient ain't really glamorous, you know what I'm saying? But the reward, that feeling, that freedom, that's what Money Inc. represents. It represents that freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an entrepreneur, I got a hair salon, my wife got a daycare. This is something that I've already been ingrained because my family, you know what I'm saying? My aunt, she opened up restaurants and one restaurant turned into two and two turned into four and different locations and all that. And so, I'm getting to see this and I'm starting to understand like, yo, and I pass it down to mine. It's like my daughter, she went FID, and now she got her own clothing line, and she's making her own clothes, and she's, what do they call that, like celebrity eating or whatever. So she's sewing these garments together, like patterns, like no t-shirts, no, not the shit that I'm doing. And me and Dirty making clothes, like
Like she make it from scratch. That's what
output. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just about the empowerment of other people. And that's what Money Inc. pretty much represents. It's like, yo, you could do your own thing on your own. And yeah, it might not be easy, but it's going to be worth it.
what does having that type of control like over your brand and just really over control of your music too, what does that really mean for you?
Everything.
And the importance of that?
Everything. It means everything because when you relinquish control to other people or other entities, then your message, first of all, can get watered down, get lost. That's one thing. And then two, you might not be compensated fairly or in the way you should be based on the metrics. You know what I'm saying? So those things keep you from being self-sufficient because if you go into an institution with your art, they're going to value it in the way where they're going to make more money than you over the long run. You know what I'm saying? Which is not a bad thing, but it just depends on what position you're in life if you need that or you don't. And we've been like, conditioned from, back in the days, like, yo, you got to get a parent to house this. You know what I'm saying? You need a parent company. You need a parent to distribute. But the internet has, it's good and bad, but it's enable everyone to be able to do their own thing, sometimes at their own peril. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a businessman, then you'll figure out how to make it work for you. So now, yeah, I might not need to have a million streams with this project. You know what I'm saying? But I might be good with 500,000. I might be good with 100,000. I might be good with DTC, direct to consumer. That's going to charge them $5 or $10 or let them pay what they want, and I'm able to pull this money in monthly, and I'm still gonna make more than what I would have made if I had went to a label. You know what I'm saying? So, it all depends on your own situation. I will say that. Like, there's no cookie cutter explanation for that.
How would you describe the creative chemistry between you and Third?
Symbiosis, like,
Yes.
like Venom, like how the shit just get on it is like it's like that. Like ain't even really no talking. Like he'll send me a beat, or he'll make a beat in the studio. If we not together, he'll send me a beat, and it's just like we just go in there and knock it out. Like at this point, we've been down for like 15 plus. You know what I'm saying?
We were talking a little bit about your creative process there for a second. When you're getting ready to write, do you have this concept of what it is that you want to write, or do you like writing to the beat?
When I was younger, I used to keep raps on deck, but that's because it makes battle too. You know what I'm saying? So I was in gladiator school. I used to have raps on deck. Now I have no raps on deck. Like nothing. Go to the studio, the vibe that I get from the beat mixed with whatever vibe I came there with, that's getting laid down. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really write much. I have ideas and maybe sometimes I'll put down little ideas or sometimes just living life, I'll come across a bar or metaphor, you know what I'm saying? And I might write down to include it in whatever I'm gonna do when I get to the lab. I'm a Sag. I'm very impulsive.
Okay.
So I need to feed off the moment.
When you're making music under the Money Inc. banner, how much does the brand's identity influence your sound?
100%, because we built a brand around who we are. And even when I'm not recording over his beats or he's not recording me rapping over his beats, we still get to convey that easily because that's naturally who we are. You feel me?
What's next for you and also for Money Inc. as a whole? Anything that you can share?
Me and Third got another joint coming. There's gonna be volume 3, Money Inc. Millionaires. You know what I'm saying? You know, we've been crafting that, putting that together. We studio that we've been putting together as well. So, that's something that's kept our hands forward in the most recent weeks, you know what I'm saying, last couple months or whatever. I got something coming later on with cartoon beats as well and all that. And I'm just working, you know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, me and Third we don't even need to record if we don't want to because we got so much music already sitting, you know what I'm saying? Like, we really do it for the love of the game, you know what I'm saying? And then everything else is just extra. Like, me and him probably got 200-300 songs.
Where can our audience find you on the social media?
Instagram, Twitter. I be trying to get acclimated to TikTok, but I don't know.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, thanks. It is, man. Like, but Nym Lo everywhere. MLO. If not, just search the big horse, man. You gonna see me pop up somewhere, man. That's a fact, man.
I know that's right. Well, I thank you so much for coming on the podcast and coming and talking to us and sharing your story. That wraps up our conversation with the one and only Nym Lo. Make sure y'all tap in and stream all of his latest projects. I'm going to tag them down in the description box. Make sure you follow him and stay up to everything that he has going on with Money Inc. And if you enjoyed this episode, do not forget to like and subscribe to the Music and Makeup podcast on YouTube, Apple, and anywhere that you stream your podcast. Make sure you leave a comment, share this with your friend who loves real luxury rap, and keep it locked for more insightful conversations with your favorite artist. Until next time, Saints and Eights, love you. Bye.